Can you say something about the situation on gender identity in South Africa? And is there self-ID and that sort of thing?
So in South Africa, we don't have legal self-identification, but transgender people do have the ability to legally change their gender marker if they've gone through a medical procedure that is considered by a doctor to be permanent. But that can, of course, include cross-sex hormones. And one of the problems with that would also be the fact that many doctors in prescribing things like surgeries and cross-sex hormones use a informed consent model rather than actually assessing for gender dysphoria. Then and now with self-ID, there are organizations within the country who are campaigning for self-identification. So one of the major transgender organizations in the country has recently put forward their intention to campaign for self-identification laws, as well as the right for prisoners and prison inmates to access medical transition and to choose what prison to go into, which is obviously a problem. And there's also recently the Western Cape, which is one of our provinces in South Africa, is looking at a policy for LGBT school children. And one of the aspects of that policy will allow children to choose what bathroom to go into. Now, South Africa has shockingly high rates of gender-based violence and we have recorded cases of men going into women's bathrooms to sexually assault the women in there. So having 18-year-old high school students be allowed to choose what bathroom to go into is clearly not a good idea. And this policy is really unfortunate, that transgender element, because other parts of the policy could be really useful for same-sex attracted children. And that's about the legal state of gender identity in South Africa.